Hi everybody,
Hello.
welcome to the reading of Chapter 8 of Tao Te Ching by mysterious Lao Tzu. And today, with my co-host Cordelh, we will compare 3 translations of the same chapter. Cordelh, I give you the floor.
I will read the first translation, which is a translation by Jia Fu Feng. And allow me to put my glasses for this. Let's see. The highest good is like water. Water gives life to the 10,000 things and does not strive. It flows in places man rejects, and so is like the Tao. In dwelling, be close to the land. In meditation, go deep in the heart. In dealing with others, be gentle and kind. In speech, be true. In ruling, be just. In daily life, be competent. In action, be aware of the time and the season. No fight, no blame.
Wow, I love the translation.
Yeah, it is a fun one.
I will read the translation by Stephen Mitchell. So, the supreme good is like water, which nourishes all things without trying to. It's content with the low places that people disdain. Thus, it is like the Tao. In dwelling life close to the ground, in thinking, keep to the simple. In conflict, be fair and generous. In governing, don't try to control. In work, do what you enjoy. In family life, be completely present. When you are content to be simply yourself and don't compare or compete, everybody will respect you. And now the third translation.
Yes, of course. The seer flows like water, lying low along the way, nourishing whatever comes to be held on display. The seer gives to simple ways, and therefore is content when joy or sorrow manifest, to give complete assent. If you can clearly be yourself and never rise to interfere, everyone will cherish you and always hold you dear.
Thank you so much. And I like the last translation as well a lot.
It's very much the same message throughout it all, you know.
Yeah.
It's about harmony, I would argue. More than peace, morality, or anything like that. It's truly just about being in an harmonious environment and keeping it harmonious.
Okay, let's go part by part. The supreme good is like water, which nourishes all things without trying to. it's content with the low places that people disdain, like the Tao. So, the Supreme Good nourishes all beings without trying to. I try to understand it. So, by my perspective, that would mean that everything goes to the place it's supposed to go to, the Supreme Good, right? How would you
That is
interpret
not
it?
what I understand.
Yeah, how do you see
my
it?
understanding of it is much different in the sense that this chapter is about the inner self. It's not about the place where the water ends up going. It's about the place where the water comes from. And that's the metaphor. So the good, in that sense, would be the water.
Mm-hmm.
It comes from some place, which is mysterious and whatever. It can come from any place. But regardless of who you are and what you've done in this life, of what wrong, what sin, what moral, questionable thing a person can have done, or if they are king, just and morally impeccable, water still reaches them, in the sense that that is true goodness. A person that is truly good will not tell somebody, you deserve that, so I will give you a carrot. He will tell, I give you the carrot because you need it. And that will be it. And it won't be about who needs the carrot. It's the action of giving something, of helping, of being good, actually. The goodness itself is not about the subject of the deed. It's about the one that does the deed. That's how I understood it.
And when it says it's content with the low places that even people disdain.
Mm-hmm. That is very much it.
So would it mean that even the lowest places have the Supreme Good in mind? Like we need the hardship because it brings us to the good?
It means that even the wretched people of this world, the people that we dismiss, that we judge, that we condemn, still deserve to receive goodness in their life. Not because who they are, but because the persons that give goodness to others, that goodness can only be goodness if it reaches everyone. If it's a goodness based on meritocracy, you did good, you will get more. It's not really goodness. It's motivation, It's something else. But it's not a good deed per itself. And this idea is actually in many different theological fields when you think about it. When, for example, Jesus Christ said, the last will be the first will be the last, and the one that never did wrong throws me the first stone, or something like that. It's very much about this. And if you look into other religion, it always comes about this idea that goodness is something outside of the realm, I want to say, of man, in the sense that man with a big M, in the sense that all problems. Let's say somebody did wrong to me.
Yeah.
And one day he needed help. What would be the good thing to do? Walk away look at him, we actually help, even though that person hurts me. You see? And that's the thing. It's always comes back to a very basic concept, is that goodness is not about us as human beings. It's an ideal. And that ideal, well, you know, we can have different interpretation of morality, but we cannot have different interpretation of what it is to be helpful. It's always very clear what helping someone is, you know. I mean, for most of us, I think the only people that actually have a problem with recognizing when they're helping others are psychopaths. But I'm not even sure about that, because I remember reading a book about that, and they didn't feel the emotions of other people, but they did recognize what made them happy, which means that in some way they understood the concept of help. You know, they just manipulated it for their own good. But the concept itself is universal, you know, helping someone. I mean, sometimes people will try to confuse us about the nature of help, but that's about it.
Okay, let's move on to the other part. In dwelling, life close to the ground. In thinking, keep to the simple. In conflict, be fair and generous. In governing, try not to control. In work, do what you enjoy. In family, be completely present. So, as I understand it, it binds to the first part, because there is this general supreme good behind all that is happening. We will have to embrace it and know it. That's why, for example, in government, we would not try to control, because there is always supreme good that governs everything. And in thinking, keep to simple, because the simple is the thing we understand and can grasp. And in the complicated things, everything is governed by the supreme good. That's how I understand it. And Cordelh, how do you see it?
Like the first translation, the indwelling be close to the land. In meditation, go deep in the heart. In dealing with others, be gentle and kind. Because ultimately, okay, it's simple concepts. The thing is, one has to understand that those are very simple concepts. Like, the definition of a home basically should be a physical representation of all of our past experience. And that is true. And the truth is, we should somehow not respect ourselves, but honor all past. Then the dwelling should be something close to us. You know, it shouldn't be something disregarded, like IKEA shop in which you go in, you go out, there is no picture, there is nothing. Home doesn't mean crap. Because if one doesn't care about home, well, it's not home. That's the truth. It just contradicts its definition. So it's very simple lines. The in meditation, go deep in the heart, I find it more concrete than in thinking, keep to the simple, in the sense that keeping to the simple can be a little bit confusing sometimes in a world where everybody thinks about how to trick other people. But when one meditates and think about their day and what has been done and what they've done and what they went through, there we can go deep into our heart. And there we can find, and I'm not meaning, like or heart into the sense my emotional passion against something, but more into the sense the heart, the loving representation of the heart, finding peace through love, through that, about a day, which honestly is a beautiful concept. If we find love in our days, it is really easy to honor our own days, and subsequently to have, I wouldn't say a form of self-respect, but at the very least a form of self-awareness. And the last part, so you read in conflict be fair and generous, and the other translation was in dealing with others be gentle and kind. And that is very complicated, because in one sense, for example, in conflicts, through this, I don't believe there is fairness and generosity that works. But now, that simple sentence, in dealing with others, be gentle and kind, I like that sentence because it implicates the idea that you don't have to specifically enjoy someone. It's not saying in dealing with people you love, be gentle and kind. That's not what it says. It says, in dealing with others, anybody else than you, be gentle and kind. And anybody else than us is both people we love, people we don't like, people we mildly like, people we neutral, people we don't know. And basically putting that line, that standard, first step, be gentle and kind, whatever person is in front of you, that I do like. It makes sense. I feel like those are extremely good advices.
Yeah.
And ultimately, I would say, by being gentle and kind, one can actually find solutions to problems. While by being an arse that tries to hurt people, well, there is no way that ends well, there is just no scenario in which this would end well in any case. I mean,
Totally.
Except if we're talking about somebody that has some deep perversion about masochism and loves to be hurt and mistreated. But even then, I would argue that I'm not convinced that this is something healthy, long-term, forever, constantly, So, yeah, it's a complicated topic.
Yeah, yes. That's the thing, there is a double standard. We can be gentle and kind, at least in my case, with the people we don't care about. But people we do care about, we have too much on the line to be gentle and kind. And I do see a trick here, because Lao Tzu said, be gentle and kind with everybody. He did not specify people that are close to you or people that you don't care about. And like people who are close to us, if in conflict with us, we go to the different level of fighting. Let's say it's difficult to be gentle and kind. And with people who are far away from us, let's say a shop seller somewhere that we don't care about, and this person cannot hurt us deeper because this person is in any way close to us, it's easy to be gentle and kind with them, in a sense. Yeah.
But more to the easy part, you know, it always comes back to this idea of the nature of goodness. The nature of goodness is not being gentle and kind specifically to the people we love. It's being able to be humble enough to be gentle and kind even to the worst people. And I'm not saying forgiving them or anything like that. Yeah. I'm saying that even the worst people, the good thing to do is to help systematically. Whatever happens, it's always a question of helping. And,
sure.
You know, I'm not saying helping to do a misdeed, obviously. I'm saying helping for greater good, you know, like helping them to get out of trouble, helping them to understand what happened to them, and stuff like that, you know.
When you're content to be simply yourself and don't compare or compete, everybody will respect you. Really? Well, in a sense, I know people who are trying to be just themselves, and others just don't respect them for that. How does that work?
Okay, so the last version I read was a poetic version, and I believe this has the best translation.
Yeah.
If you can clearly be yourself and never rise to interfere, everyone will cherish you and always hold you dear. So the concept here is, if you're honest and yet good, because you have to keep into account everything we said before, that the basic intention is always do good, not because the person in front of you is who he is, not because you choose to gain something out of it, but just because the deed itself is goodness. So, if you can embrace that, and if you can be good clearly, and if you can find a clear path to be good, then at the same time, not interfere, in the sense like, have you ever had a problem and then somebody comes and tells you a dozen advices about how to deal with a problem they do not understand?
Yeah.
Yes. That's what I believe this phrase is talking about. And never rise to interfere. You know, it's not about interfering in the sense helping somebody. It's interfering in the sense pretending to help, but at the same time reminding them how much trouble they are. So, if a person can be honest and help someone find the right path, you know, sometimes we're confused. We don't know what's right from wrong because we have emotions. We're human beings. And then somebody comes along and tells us, listen, just think about it. And if you had to look at that event from the outside, what would be right or wrong? And then suddenly it comes to their head, you know, that they realize people see that something is right or wrong, and they can make their own decisions without having somebody pretending to be a white knight, telling them what to do, and granting themselves all the, I saved your life, you know, I am the savior. That doesn't work. That doesn't work. So if a person can be honest, yet good and helpful, and not be one of those interfering assholes that takes a hold on somebody else's life, everyone will cherish them, because everyone will actually listen to their advice that is not motivated by gain, that is not motivated by abuse, things like that. And in theory, they will be held in, well, here it says, and always hold you dear. But personally, I think it's rather than dear, it's a question of a resemblance of respect.
Yeah.
If you have a friend that you know you can go to and will be honest with you, and at the same time won't hurt you while he's honest, and will be able to make you see what's right for yourself.
Yeah.
Even if a person doesn't, want to be with them all the time, they will morally appreciate that advice. And I'm sure we all have friends like that, that we know think about us rather than think about themselves while helping. So you see, this chapter is basically the nature of goodness. It's not about me. It's not about you.
Yeah.
It's about what is good, what is helpful. I say helpful because sometimes people confuse goodness. They will argue that goodness is a question of morality. But the truth is, goodness is being helpful. Animals can be good to each other if they help each other.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you for your input, Cordelh, as usually. Amazing. And high five. Let's try it. By the way, guys, we are experimenting with new backgrounds, so I will be disappearing all the time. Sorry. High five. I will disappear into your screen and stuff like that. Okay. So.
Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you for being with us. As always, we will see you in the next video. Like and subscribe and join Pinder Poet Society. All the links are provided below. And thank you again, and have a wonderful, wonderful month. And
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye.